Feminist. What is a feminist? What do I think of when I think of feminism? I think of equality, strength, independence, hard work. I think of Rosie the Riveter. Rosie the Riveter may not be the kind of feminist a person thinks of when given the question, who is a feminist to them? But her iconic image helped forward the feminist movement in the work industry back during the 1940s, predominantly remembered as the era of World War II. With all of the drafting of men 18 years old and above, many jobs were low on workers, so a factory called the Westinghouse Electric Corporation Factory decided to advertise female employment for their facility. One of the most memorable posters ever was this poster of Rosie the Riveter with the caption, "We can do it." The artist of this poster, J. Howard Miller, created this in 1942. However, many people conspired about who was this woman. Was she real? Miller didn't leave much documentation behind regarding where his inspiration for his poster came from. So for years, it was unknown until a woman named Geraldine Hoff Doyle saw this image. Taken of a woman in a factory wearing a polka dot red bandana, posted in a paper claiming to be the inspiration of Rosie. She then claimed it was her in the photo. Keep in mind, this wasn't until the 1980s. Fast forward to about the early 2000s when another woman named Naomi Parker Fraley claimed it was actually her in the photo. She had an original newspaper clipping of the same image captioned with her name in it for proof. The significance of Rosie the Riveter is quite amazing, and this poster was only up in the factory for 2 weeks before being replaced with a new one. During World War II, there were many propaganda posters calling for women to work. Between 1940 and 1945, the female percentage of the U.S. workforce increased from 27% to nearly 37%, and by 1945, nearly 1 out of every 4 married women worked outside the home. Women were now working jobs on the home front. This is something that was rarely seen before. And not only did women start working jobs in their local communities, but women started to work for the armed services. In May 1942, Congress instituted the Women's Auxiliary Army Corps, which included 200 non-combatant jobs stateside. An example of one of the smaller groups part of this is a naval group formed called Women Accepted for Volunteer Emergency Services, also known as the WAVES. Another group were the Women's Air Force Service pilots, who ferried planes from factories to bases, transporting cargo and participating in simulation strafing and target missions, accumulating more than 60 million miles in flight distances and freeing thousands of male U.S. pilots for active duty in World War II. Unfortunately, though 32 women died in this force, the WASPs weren't given military benefits or honor until the 1970s. The impact of Rosie the Riveter went above and beyond its purpose. Once the war was over, women were expected to go back to being jobless housewives and mothers. However, many decided to stay in their workforce, although they were demoted and paid less than half what men earned. The ability of women to finally work gave them a sense of self-reliance and personal freedom. These concepts are what I think of when I think of feminism: independence, defiance against double standards, and strength. In modern times, the idea of Rosie the Riveter is still portrayed. From girls and women dressing up as her for Halloween, which is something that I've admittedly done, to modern celebrities like Beyonce and Kelly Rowland, who are both women of color representing the iconic figure.
To me, feminism is to be strong, independent, self-reliant, and you can see from the difference in generations from the 1940s to today, we have come a long way in doing so.